The schedule for today, we start off with this one, Slovenia and Turkey, followed by Italy and Hungary. Well, hello everybody, I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Shona Thorburn, and it's all about putting yesterday's disappointment behind them and coming out and playing strong today, Shona, because these teams already have their backs against the wall.
Yeah, they do. We talked yesterday. I can't predict who's going to finish first through fourth in this group. But these two teams are coming off in disappointing losses, to say the least, because they were both up and both in command and control of the game, and really, they let that win fall away from them, both of them. So I think a lot of these teams, they need a win. Both of them need a win. They want to get a win, but they also have a lot of disappointment that they have to try and get over before this game starts.
Well, quite clearly, Turkey has the better pedigree in recent times, having played, for example, at the last couple of Olympic Games. Slovenia, they've got one EuroBasket women under their belt, and that was 2 years ago. But this, we expect to be a very level game.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, Turkey have more to lose here just because of what they have done in the past, where Slovenia haven't yet proved themselves. They haven't taken that next step. They've made it the last two EuroBasket Women's Championships, but they haven't gotten past more than one win. So, when is it their time? I thought they played great yesterday. I really enjoyed watching them play. But if I'm Turkey and if I'm Turkish basketball fans, you've got to be a little bit disappointed how Turkey let that game slip away from them yesterday. And I think it'll be against Italy. I think it'll show a lot if they can come out tonight and get a win and regroup. Or you know what? Maybe that disappointment from yesterday will be too heavy and we'll see them fold.
Well, there's, again, that one advantage is you have a lot of experience in the Turkey squad, but what Slovenia have, they brought quite a few fans with them. It's not far away here, of course. And it looks like the good news is that Eva is going to play wearing number 12. She left yesterday with what we assume was some type of calf strain. But she has come out.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we're not sure anyway. We're going to have a pause in the commentary for a playing of the national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Slovenia.
Okay, the national anthems have been played, and we're going to get a look at the rosters and starting fives, and we'll also get a look at the gentlemen that will be officiating this game today. from a game where they lost. They led by as many as 14 points, but they didn't hold on.
The referees for this game are
Marius Ciulin from Romania, Martin there on the left, Latvia and Ivor Matejek from the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Commissioner
the Romanian
Lucas
referee.
Vergosen, Netherlands.
He's standing behind the ball there, and there is Olcay Şakir-Turgut, who I thought overall played very well. Tilbe Sanyurak didn't play much yesterday. A couple of nights ago, she suffered a knee injury in training. And for Turkey, Shona, I think we pretty much know who's going to get most of the minutes. And can they really play as well as they played yesterday, but also can they get more out of Ishil Albin, of course, their famous point guard?
Yeah, she has to be a little bit disappointed with the way she played yesterday. She was only 1 for 6. She had 3 points, a couple rebounds. She's your leader, she's your captain. She's the only person in this tournament who has ever had a double-double in points and scoring. So you kind of want to see her get back to that level. And she's someone who needs to be there for them.
Well, we saw a flash of the starting 5. Let's see if it comes up. There you go. Şakir-Turgut on the left. I thought Cansu Köksal played the best game I've ever seen her play for Turkey. Janitez and Kia Stokes. You know, Kia Stokes clearly is a player that they are relying heavily on, but Olcay Şakir-Turgut here, on balance overall, really brought the energy on defense, on offense, and you know, she can do the same thing today. Obviously gives them a great chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you touched on it a little bit. Kia Stokes, she had the first 6 points for Turkey. They did a great job of getting her the ball, and then they completely went away from that. And I think that's something that Turkey needs to go back to because it was successful for them early in that game against Italy.
For Slovenia and coach Damir Grgic, you got a lot of great play from Teja Oblak. Prezel came on in the second half and was terrific. The big difference, obviously, when they lost Evans for 5 fouls in that fourth quarter. That's when Hungary made their run. Jakovina, Baric, Prezel, Oblak, and Evans in that starting 5. And we thought Baric was having kind of a quiet game, but she was effective, really, for the full 40 minutes. And anytime as a point guard, you finish with 10 assists. And she also had the 7 points and 3 rebounds. And don't forget, you know, she probably could have had a few more assists if her teammates had made a couple more shots. So
yeah, she's their leader. She's probably the person on that team who has the most experience just having played on 10 years in some of the top EuroLeague teams.
Jan Yudizolu back for his second spell as a national team coach. Of course, he coached them in 2012 Olympics. Damir Grgic, he's probably scratching his head wondering how that game got away from him yesterday, because they really didn't look like Slovenia like they were going to beat Hungary. And if I'm being honest, I think that result had more to do with the comeback from Hungary than the play from Slovenia, other than the fact that Evans picked up that crucial 5th foul and left the game.
Yeah, you know, that foul by Evans, I think it's kind of their nail in the coffin a little bit. It gave momentum to Hungary. That being said, Hungary just went off and were great, but also don't forget, we don't see Lisa in the starting 5 for Slovenia, and that's something that could be very costly because they are not deep when it comes to post players.
And it may be a case where with Eva Lisets, they're going to wait and see when they need her, if they need her. I would assume they're going to need her.
Yeah, but when do you give her today off? Tomorrow's a rest day for everyone in this tournament.
Well, hello everybody, good afternoon. We are in Niš, Serbia. This is the FIBA Women's EuroBasket, and Turkey in the red. Starting things off, attacking the basket to the left of your screen, taking on Slovenia in the whites today. Both of these teams lost their opening games. There's Kia Stokes, and just like yesterday, goes to work early but misses a layup.
But you know, that's a good look for Turkey. I think that's a great idea. First play of the game, get the ball inside to Stokes.
Prezel hands it off, and knocking it in early on is Jakovina. Doesn't say much about her, but she had an overall solid performance yesterday as well for Slovenia. Gets to start today. I don't think Teja Oblak could have played much better than she played yesterday. That's why you end up scratching your head wondering how Slovenia lost that game. But you got to make the big plays and the smart plays as well. Here's the bump, the pass over to Puxel, and Jatsu Puxel misses her first attempt. Jackie Turgut, a lot of responsibility on her shoulders now. She drives down the lane, goes up with the left hand. I think for her to be successful, Shauna, I mean, she needs the ball in her hands, and she has to go to the basket. Really, that's when she's at her best.
Yeah.
Here's Preza, and has it taken away by Janites. So Ishil Albin playing more off the ball right now. And here she has it. We got a 3-second violation. So turns the ball over to Slovenia. Shot is blocked by Shacker, but the ball goes back and does not go down for Slovenia. And it's knocked out of bounds, so Turkey will get it back.
And you know, Slovenia are really undersized in this tournament, but I thought they did a great job yesterday of crashing the boards, and you see them try and crash the boards here again today. They didn't end up with it, but keep going. A few of those balls are going to go out of bounds on Turkey, and it's going to be your ball underneath.
Puxel gets it over to Albin. Ishil Albin, the iconic guard of Turkey. Shot clock about to expire. They're not going to get it off. A mixture of good defense and bad offense. So even though these two teams 0-1, really does have the look of a group that is very even. Win today would certainly keep both of these teams firmly in the hunt, not only for advancing, but also winning the group potentially, depending on how the results go.
I think this group is so evenly matched.
Over to Shacker Turgut, short. But a foul has been called on Yakovina. And remember, Shona, the top 6 teams in this competition will earn tickets to the famous FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments. So, the teams that want to go to Tokyo, they know they need to finish in the top 6 to stay in the hunt.
Absolutely, and the top 3 from each group move on to that hunt. So really, every win matters here.
Ishil Albin pulls up and hits that soft jump shot. Quiet start so far for Evans. Here she is, right on cue, good pump fake, gets Kia Stokes off her feet and gets the foul.
And you know, again, I talked about the height or lack thereof, the height for Slovenia, and they just do. Evans, their other post players, they do a great job of being crafty because they're not as tall as maybe some people who are guarding them. So you just like that. She didn't really have her beat, but she knew if she up faked, she was going to fly, and then she did a good job protecting the ball and being able to get the shot up. It's really crucial for Evans to play a big part in today's game if Slovenia wants to get the win.
Well, she played a lot of minutes yesterday, and with Lisets out of the lineup, and really were uncertain as to how much she'll play. That's certainly the case. Albin, she's hit one from closer in. This time it rattles out.
You know, I like the aggressiveness by Ishmael Albin already. I think Coach talked to her and said, you need to be more aggressive. We need to get more production from you. And she's already, I think it took her until the third quarter to have 2 shot attempts yesterday in the game. She's already had 2 shot attempts. They were both good looks, that ball in and out. So I like this. I like the way that she's come out today.
They need more from her in the scoring than in years past, that's for sure. Nika Badic. Oblak gets it back. There's Taya Oblak, and it's good. She picks right up where she left off yesterday. Turgid now, shot clock down to 5. Over to Jansu Koksal, and a little bit long. Turkey likes to go deep in the shot clock. Here's Evans, and the foul from Jansu Koksal.
And what a great job of rebounding, boxing out, rebounding, outletting, and Evans running the floor. And we talked yesterday. I said, wow, Slovenia are playing with this great pace. It was so fun to watch them play yesterday. I said, can they keep it up? I questioned that after the first quarter. They absolutely kept it up the entire game. I think they had mental mistakes at the end, which lost them the game. But here they are. They've already come out. They're playing. They're enjoyable to watch. They play with such pace. Even in the quarter court, the half court, they play with pace on offense, which makes it enjoyable.
And she also makes some free throws, which is a very important stat to keep your eye on as the game unfolds. Here's Jansu Koksal, and she was trapped and stepped out of bounds. Nice little wrinkle thrown in by Coach Damir Grgic.
Yeah, we didn't see that yesterday from them after the free throws. So, clearly that was something they talked about, and they want to confuse maybe Turkey a little bit, and it worked.
Behind the back pass by Evans, but now it leads to a turnover, and Shaka Turgid is going to go in and score with the left hand. Unbelievable. What a turnaround. Evans, perhaps a little bit too much showtime with that pass. Oh, nice pass. No, she let her too much, and now they're off and running again. And an unsportsmanlike has been called on Jakovina for not playing the ball. And right when it looked like Slovenia were getting on top of Turkey, they've made a couple of mistakes, and Turkey are taking advantage.
And again, that's a mental mistake. We saw it yesterday in the game.
Martins, please.
Everyone knows
Let's see the last foul,
that
please.
if you foul, if you foul in transition, it's an unsportsmanlike foul.
Go. No, on the fast break.
You really have to go after the ball, and I think that's what the refs are taking a look at right now.
Clear.
More time. In a slow motion, please.
That is clear. That. Go. Holding the. Huh?
Yeah, all perfect angle.
This is yes.
She's dribbling now and holding the body.
He's holding the body. He's unsportsmanlike.
So number 10.
Number 10 unsportsmanlike.
2 shots for number 10.
Yes.
So we'll see what the referees have to say, and they indeed called the unsportsmanlike. So the 2 shots in possession. And it was a part of, I think it had become such a huge part of basketball that something had to be done, and obviously
the fouling in transition.
Yeah, the fouling in transition, and it's been acted upon, and they really have clamped down hard on stopping that from taking place. Because let's be honest, the people that come to basketball games don't want to sit back and watch somebody foul somebody and break up a fast break at midcourt without even playing the ball.
That's the enjoyable part of watching basketball too. You're like, oh, fast break, what's going to happen? And yeah, I agree with you. And it's costly. Imagine they get another foul here, they hit a 3. That's a 5-point swing.
Absolutely. So Turkey were reeling a little bit, but here they are with a chance to take the lead. Koksal from behind the arc. And Kia Stokes kept it alive. And I think a foul has been called on Slovenia. On Sinicha. And that that was a good call by the ref. I mean, he had the angle. She had her, I mean, you can see why he called it. Kind of had her wrapped up a little bit.
And that's some of the disadvantages. Slovenia, they're a lot smaller, so you have to be crafty boxing out, and I think that's where you kind of get these fouls.
And the ball goes out of bounds, and again, Coxel, she's getting those looks, and I think, honestly, she just has to keep taking them. I mean, she's got to make those shots for Turkey.
Yeah, she does. You know, we saw her hit a few yesterday. Here you see the fast break off of a little bit of a sloppy pass by Evans.
From Shaker Turgut. Good hands, almost forcing the turnover from Ishalauda. Nika Badic from deep. And Kia Stokes chases it down. Now we haven't seen Stokes get a touch
Since the first possession.
Here she is behind the arc. Ishalauda guarded closely by Nika Badic, and hearing it from the Slovenian fans who wanted a turnover. Shaker Turgut over to Kia Stokes. She drives in, puts up a tough shot, scores!
And you know, that's so disappointing because I thought it was excellent defense for, 23 seconds by Slovenia there, but just Kia Stokes, she's so strong.
Good hands by Janites to knock it away. The no-look pass from Shaker Turgut, and Turkey have got the wind in their sails. And they force a timeout by Slovenia. What a turnaround.
And really, this run of events by Turkey all happened with that unsportsmanlike foul by Slovenia. It's a momentum changer.
And really, Shona, even before that, if you look at the finish, once again, terrific distribution there from Shaker Turgut. Before that, the behind-the-back pass from Evans, which led to a turnover. Fast break points and second chance points for both teams. The advantage to Turkey.
Come up, let's beat the post. Beat the post.
And that's a vital stat as well as the game unfolds, especially the close games, the free throws.
Yeah, the field goal shooting. Turkey's already had 12 shot attempts compared to just 6 by Slovenia.
So really, it seems like these momentary lapses kill Slovenia. If they can execute and cut out the mistakes, they'll be okay, but a team like Turkey has enough good players to where they will pounce on you if you make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that shot hit off the side of the backboard by Teja Oblak.
That was a good look. I like the penetration by Baric. And you know, Oblak needs to be able to hit those shots for Slovenia to give themselves a chance to win this game, I think.
Well, the turnover against Turkey gives it right back. A foul.
No, another 3
seconds.
Yeah,
okay.
so that's their second 3-second call, and I understand what Turkey are doing and why. You know, Slovenia is switching a lot, so it seems like you have a mismatch, but they're doing a good job of helping. So the pass is a difficult pass to make, and sometimes in those situations, you know you have a mismatch. But once you've looked at it for 1 second, one shot fake, and you can't get it in, go ahead and continue to run your offense.
So 5 turnovers for Turkey, 4 for Slovenia. And she picked up her dribble and then dribbled again. Did Slovenia's number 13, Friskovic. Zala Friskovic. And now we're getting a chance to see Yalcin come in for Turkey. You can see number 0. We didn't see her yesterday. Pass up ahead to Jansu Koksel. She finds Stokes. And she goes up, takes her time, and scores! Badic, Preza, good! That'll get them going.
That will get them going. We saw her hit a couple of big shots for them in the third quarter yesterday, and really, everyone needs to play great to get a win for Slovenia.
Pass over to Yalcin. She brings a little bit of rain, but misses the shot. Now Prezel. Oh, almost took a step there. Now Baric runs around Evans and then has the ball knocked away. I think it was Shakir Turgut. Coxel bounce pass, right idea, but alertly spotted by Slovenia, who now take it the other way. The contact against Sinichar. Here it is again. Really, it was Shakir Turgut who reached in. But the foul was called on Yalcin. Shakir Turgut, meanwhile, goes out of the game, and Bilgic comes in, who played so well yesterday.
Especially in the first half, Jeff.
And pulling up for the jump shot was Prezel. Tied once again, 14 apiece, and now a blocking call on Friskevitz. Zala Friskevitz. There she is. And also checking in early today is number 8, Teja Gorsic.
Yeah, we've seen both coaches kind of go to their bench early because this is the second game of a back-to-back, so there are probably some fatigue in the legs from yesterday already.
Bahat Chalar in for Turkey, and this time Stokes misses the reverse layup with the left hand. Pass up ahead to Friskevitz, who holds it. And now looks to pass. She's got the size on Yalcin. She goes right at her, and blocked by Stokes. Now Bilgic goes behind the back.
Not really sure that's the offense that Slovenia really needed. They play a lot better when they pass the ball around. They attack closeouts, share the ball, look to penetrate and kick. I think that's the kind of play where, you know, as the leader, Baric needs to go and get the ball and have an on-ball set on her instead of her standing opposite side and just watching the play.
Yep. Turner played the point guard for Canada. I guess they would always tell you to go and get it. Here's the bounce pass inside. Gorsic back over to the teammate Stokes, comes up with the basketball, but stolen by Prezel, and she misses the shot. And now Bilgic, 3-on-3, decides to hold it up.
She's aware of the clock. Yes, she is.
Shot clock, the game clock about to expire. She gets a good look, but that is the end of a very exciting, fast, frantic first quarter. 14 apiece between Slovenia and Turkey.
Baric a little slow to get to the bench there. I think she maybe took a hit in the face. And here you have the stats after the first quarter. 60% by Turkey. They did a great job scoring early. You know, Slovenia actually didn't have a lot of shot attempt opportunities because they were turning the ball over, not getting good looks. Another problem.
Okay, so it's 14-14 between Slovenia and Turkey. And we've already had 2 very close games here in Niš, and I would not be surprised if we ended up having another one that goes right down to the final buzzer. because neither of these teams are so far able to really put too much distance between themselves. They get runs, they look comfortable, and all of a sudden the other team comes back.
Yeah, Jeff, you know, basketball is absolutely a game of runs and taking advantage of momentum and mistakes. And I thought Turkey had the opportunity and did that. And then Slovenia did a good job of staying calm and hitting some big shots late in that first quarter. You know, I think maybe a little bit of fatigue. We have 6 turnovers for Slovenia, 8 for Turkey. That's a lot. You can't expect to win a game if you're turning the ball over that much. But when the other team's doing it close to the same amount, you know, that's why the game's so close.
Oh, the turnover, almost a steal by Bilgic. She brings a lot of energy from the bench.
Yeah, she really does. Yesterday, she had 10 points in the first half off the bench for them.
Now another jump shot, this one from Thea Oblak.
And Oblak had such a big game for them yesterday, and if they want to win, they need a big production from her along with their other 2 sort of stars of this team, especially with Lisic's out. And I'm not sure we're going to see her, Jeff.
Yeah, maybe she's just dressed out and
she's psyching everyone out. Maybe she will come in. We're not quite sure.
jump shot, this time no good, and good hustle there. I think Gorsuch kept it alive and knocked it away. Now Gorsuch is going to launch one. And the ball goes off the hands of Kia Stokes and out of bounds. Well, I don't know what you thought about that pass, but still, I think Kia Stokes would think that she should be catching that one. So Slovenia have charged back to lead it 16-14. Thea Oblak thought about pulling up, passes it back outside. Gorsuch trying to post up on Jorda. And Prezel! Boy, she is a weapon, isn't she?
She really is. I mean, we saw her do that yesterday. Prezel, Oblak, and I would say Baric have to have a big game, along with Evans, sorry. And I know that's a lot of pressure for just 4 players, but I think they've come out great already.
And that's a great response by Ishil Albin, knowing Turkey need to stop the rot. I think Slovenia had been on a 10-0 run. Bounce pass to Gorsuch, but instead of going hard to the basket, she kind of fell away and didn't finish. Now Bilgic almost turned it over. Jorda. Aisha Jorda gets it to Janites, now to Stokes. And Stokes is blocked by Sinichar, but a foul was called.
I mean, a good job by Stokes going up aggressively. You know, if I'm Turkey, I want to be aggressive from the outside, but I also really, almost every time down the floor, I want to see what kind of advantage I'm going to have underneath with Kia Stokes, because they need to get her the ball. They should have got her the ball more yesterday, and they didn't. They went away from her, especially in the second half. But she also needs to assert herself a little bit better and maybe post up harder and demand the ball from her teammates.
It's a very good point. I thought Turkey would have a player that they were used to in Quanitra Hollingsworth for this tournament. But injury prevented her from coming. And now it's Kia Stokes, who also has played basketball in Turkey. And Mateo Oblak almost turned it over. Foul called on Shaka Turgut. Ball again goes off of Ishalauben.
You saw Oblak right away turn around and said, sorry, my bad. It's like a cardinal rule. You never fake a back cut. If you decide to go, you gotta go. And she started to go and then she stopped and the passer's already passed.
Evans outside. And good rebound by Friškovic. And jump shot goes in and out. Evans there for the offensive rebound, and then it's her teammate Sinichar. So we didn't see much of Sinichar yesterday. She's come out and been invaluable, especially with Lisets out.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what you need. When a player goes down, someone else needs to be able to step up. And I think that's what we see right now by maybe more of the reserve role players for Slovenia. I think they've done a good job. And, you know, there you had an offensive rebound, but it's just getting touches on the ball, touches on the rebound, offensive rebounding. And they did that a lot yesterday. For their size, they're incredibly good at offensive rebounding.
Yaparlarsa eğer şimdi artık çıkıyoruz. Ya you are gonna be here. You are gonna be here. Ayşe böyle oynayacaksın. 1-1 yaparlarsa. If they 1-3-1, we play here. Tuğçe here, Ayşe here. Pozisyonlara girin. If they pressure. First offense. Listen up. First offense. Düşün sen buradasın. Olcay buradasın.
3 of 8 from deep. Slovenia, 7 of 21 overall, 7 of 17 overall for Turkey. They have yet to hit a three-pointer. So Turkey coming out of the timeout. And the dunk. And what a play. Stokes, that was easy. Well, they made it look easy.
They made it look easy because, you know, that all started with Ishalauben. She's already come out not afraid to shoot, so they have to respect that.
And rattling it in from long range is Nika Baric. So 4 three-pointers now for Slovenia. Nice little duel there between Shaka Turgut and Baric. And driving in and not able to finish was Jorda. I say Jorda. Now the pass up ahead. Friškovic, and she's fouled by Shaka Turgut.
I really think Slovenia are at their best when they get a good rebound that leads to an outlet that's already on the move and they run, because they don't make poor decisions in transition or a semi-transition type of pace that they like to play at. So every opportunity the Slovenian team has, I think they need to go, they need to run, and they need to try and beat Turkey down the floor.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that yesterday. Here's Jorda checking out and Cansu Koksal back in for Turkey. Baric, the bounce pass, Friškovic, and rims out. Ishalauben looks up ahead to Kia Stokes, and contact with Evans while trying to make the catch, and Evans called for the foul.
Not a lot of contact. I think that was actually a pretty good job of trying to get back on D. She played the ball, that's for sure.
Yeah.
She did try and play the ball. And you know, we talked yesterday, Evans had that really crucial 5th foul for them, so you don't want it. It's only her first. We're halfway through the second quarter, but they cannot afford to lose her like they did yesterday at the end of the game.
The pass with Turku, Shakir Turgut. That three-point shot proving elusive so far. Not one has been made by Turkey. And Slovenia, we're going for number 5. Now the quick outlet to Ishil Albin. And I think Jayan Yurizolu might have wanted Coxel to shoot it. Now they're going to have to settle for a tough shot. Shakir Turgut puts it up from the line. Beautiful release from Taya Oblak. And the lead now, the biggest of the game for Slovenia, 6 points. Shot clock down to 5. The dump again to Stokes, and met by that defense. Friskovets and also Evans forcing the travel.
And that's what they need to do because they are undersized in the post. You need to collapse as soon. You got to go and help your big. You got to go and help Evans. And I think Slovenia are doing a really good job of that. They're really playing off. It's almost like this laid back defense, but it's not at all because they're there on closeouts and they're there helping each other.
Oblak, meanwhile, attempts another one. Tilde Sanjarek has come into the game for Kia Stokes. And Nika Baric goes right down the lane but missed the shot. Now the quick pass to Janitez and just not quite able to catch it. Right idea.
You know, we've already seen her get out. Janitez get out in transition once in this game, and I think that's a great look. I think that's the pace that Turkey should try and play at as well. A little bit of a tough pass. Defense was there. I mean, it would have been an excellent and maybe play of the game had she caught it and finished that.
So timeout on the court with 3:59 to go in the first half. Slovenia want to set the table here for the last 4 minutes or so.
Maybe give his players a little bit of a breather as well. I think it might be that kind of a timeout.
So the fast break points and the points in the paint. So Turkey having a lot more joy in the paint. It's a strange stat, really.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And look at that. This is what surprises me, and I think it's great, and it shows you how much Slovenia wants it. 5 offensive rebounds compared to only 3 by Turkey, where Turkey had the height advantage. You know, really, if I'm Turkey's coach, I'm saying, hey guys, we gotta go, we gotta rebound, we gotta try and give ourselves second opportunities. And they're not getting that as much as Slovenia is, and really, who wants it more?
With Prezel back in the game now for Slovenia, she's been a real weapon in all respects. Now aggressively looks for that jump shot. Friskovets comes out, picks up her dribble, gets it back to Baric. Now down to 7. Baric takes on Janitez. Oh, may have pushed off a little bit, and the ball stayed out. Unlucky for Baric. And Taya Oblak knocks it away from Ishil Albin. But Shakir Turgut has it. Shakir Turgut playing a lot of minutes.
A lot of point guard also. They're playing more Ishil Albin at the 2, which is a little unusual.
Well, Coxel from deep. And nice play by Ishil Albin to take it away from Taya Oblak. You cannot fall asleep on her.
No, you can't. That was just kind of one of those savvy veteran rebounding moves.
Janitez misses from deep, and another one from Ishil Albin, and she says, I'm going to take it this time myself, and she misses. And it's just one of those shooting afternoons for Turkey that you don't want to have. Taya Oblak goes in, scores with the reverse.
And You know, I think Slovenia got lucky because Turkey had a couple offensive rebounds, great offensive rebounds by Ishal Albin. Both of their shot attempts looked on to me. And like you said, it's maybe just one of those afternoons for Turkey. Maybe tired legs could be a little bit of a reason why we're seeing some shots. They're on target, they're just short.
Well, they are 0 for 9 from three-point range, Turkey, whereas Slovenia are 4 of 11. Zolu draws up the plays, and just to illustrate what we were just talking about. And then overall, 10 of 29 for Slovenia, 8 of 24 for Turkey. Turkey at the free throw line are 4 for both teams. In fact, have been to the line, made 4 of 4. And the turnovers and the assist. You know, Slovenia were in this situation yesterday, and you really felt on a couple of occasions that they were just going to go ahead and put Hungary away, and they did not. And just looking at Coach Damir Grgic there during that timeout, you know, it really is a case of almost like, let's step on their throats, so to speak, and put them away.
You know, absolutely, and this is why they're out here in a full court, you know, man-to-man. They're putting a little bit of pressure on. You have 2:45 left. Right now, if you're Slovenia, you kind of want to you want to go, you want to attack, you want to maybe try and tire this team out. You know you're going to have a break, halftime's coming up. See, this is the defense I'm talking about. Look how many of them are sort of inside the paint, ready to help.
Oh, well, you need a big bucket. You go to your veteran, and that's what Ishal Albin is.
And how different has she been today compared to what we saw yesterday from her?
Now, the indecision. I don't know, maybe if the ball slipped out of Teo Oblak's hand. But Shakir Turga has it, and Kia Stokes is back in there as well. Shakir Turga at this time goes in and can't quite get there, but Stokes follows, gets it back, her own miss. And much better for Turkey. You know what? When you're struggling, get a high percentage shot. And that's what they've done now a couple of times.
You know, we saw Shakir Turga, her last 2 shots before that layup were threes. And you said at the beginning of the game, her first basket of the game was actually a layup because she was aggressive. And you said, oh, when she's at her best, that's what she's doing. She's attacking. She didn't make that layup. But guess what? They got the offensive rebound. And like you said, they're not knocking shots down from the outside. The three's not going in for them right now. So what do? You need your guards to attack, and you need to get your ball inside to your bigs.
Well, Ishal Albin's made a couple inside. This time she hits a jumper. It wasn't for 3, but nevertheless, a nice little riposte here from Turkey.
You know, I think Ishal Albin had different shoes on yesterday, and it might be the difference.
Pulling up and hitting the jump shot. Nika Baric. I think there was also a question about whether or not she would play because maybe she was ill going into yesterday's game. Isn't that right? Or there was some issue about her fitness. And she's obviously shaking it off. I know it was like an Achilles problem, wasn't it, we were told? Here it is inside, and Stokes.
Oh, Ishal Albin,
yeah.
Yeah, I think she's having feet problems. And that might be also why she changed her shoes, to be honest. But you know what I love? I love that Ishal Albin knocks down this shot, and then Baric says, hey, you know what? I'm experienced. I'm at this level too. Comes down, hits almost the exact same shot.
Well, the long one, Teo Oblak, and Kia Stokes with the rebound, and that lead just keeps evaporating for Slovenia. Once again, Bilic has it, rather. Now Janitez, Coxel, will this be it finally? Yes, it is! Jansu Coxel finally knocks in the three-pointer. Turkey's first to the game to make it a one-point game.
And you know, after that timeout, you and I said, okay, we need to see Slovenia kind of take it to them right now. They have the momentum. Well, we were wrong.
Well, Plezel attempts it. Evans scraps away, steps out of bounds, and incredibly, Slovenia, who looked like they were in command, now in danger of trailing at halftime.
And you know, this is really important right now. So there's 18 seconds. Obviously, Turkey's going to go for the last shot. Slovenia needs to be aware that they do have one foul to give. So if you're going to foul, you don't want to allow any easy baskets, but you also want to make sure you don't foul on a shot. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see not Evans, not Baric, not Prezel, but maybe one of the other players taking a foul before. See, there you go.
Well spotted. So with 6.3 seconds to go, still plenty of time for Turkey. Slovenia led 28-20 with 2:47 remaining.
And you know, that's why coach put Krusell in the game to take a foul.
So here it is, Albin's gonna have to launch it. Nope, she passes to Stokes, but doesn't catch it cleanly. Doesn't catch it, in fact, and that is how things finish.
And clearly she's come out with a different mind frame, a different attitude. She's being aggressive. She's looking for her shot first, which she's a pass first point guard, and I love her game. But as a pass first point guard, you also need to be, people need to be aware of your shooting ability and your scoring ability, so they respect that, and that's what after is gonna open up the passing lanes for you. Here you see Ishil Albin being aggressive in the highlight reel. I mean, that's what they need from her. And for them to get a win tonight, that's what they need to do. I think if I'm Turkey defensively, I need to do a little bit better job of concentrating on those sort of big three for Slovenia. Oblak, they have to be aware of. Baric, they have to be aware of. Prezel as well. You know,
Oblak
Slovenia don't score inside the paint. So you got to take away the pull-ups and the outside shots a little bit better. You know, I honestly, Slovenia missed some wide open shots that we saw them hit yesterday from the outside. So I think Turkey are actually lucky to only be down 1 point.
30-29 at halftime. Slovenia on top of Turkey in the battle of 0-1 teams. We'll be right back before the start of the second half.
Hey, Pupa reverses one more, and Lorenz is wide open. Count it.
How about that from Romeo? Turner drives in. Oh, that's been their favorite spot on the court.
Jovic steps back. Ooh. Off the glass of two. Beautiful move.
Petrovic trying to finally put them to bed, and does. Petrovic brings this crowd to its feet.
Well, key is so important to what Turkey want to do in this FIBA Women's EuroBasket. 10 points today. You can see that's a more influential
Player today, as we anticipated, she might be every bit that contribution is important. When you look up at the scoreboard, you see that they trail right now, 30-29. A little bit of frustration evident on the face of Damir Grgic, the coach of Slovenia, knowing that his team perhaps should have a little bit bigger lead. They were up 28-20 with 2:47 remaining in the first half. Well, Slovenia, they've got some good performances from a whole cast of characters once again. Prezo among them. But they have this tendency to get on top and not able to put the game away, and the other team comes back, just as happened yesterday with Hungary. Turkey has proved to be very resilient. All Black once again. She was good yesterday, she's been good today as well. 9 points, 4-10 from the floor. And really at the center of everything that they want to do, as well as Nika Badic. Those two players, Prezel, doing a lot for Slovenia as they try to get that first win here of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket. Shona was only 2 years ago where, you know, Slovenia, very impressive in their first ever FIBA Women's EuroBasket, and they weren't far off from advancing to the qualifying round for the quarterfinals. They had that tough loss to France, and they went, you know, they had the tough loss yesterday to Hungary.
Yeah, and that's where, you know that you can compete, but when can you kind of take that extra step and say, yeah, you know what, we deserve to be here. Everyone who's watched their games from the last EuroBasket, who watched yesterday, who watched this first half, they deserve to be here. But when are they going to take that next step and get a couple wins under their belt so they give themselves a chance to move on? And honestly, this group is probably the best group for Slovenia to be in, because I really do think it's so equally matched with the 3 other teams that they got to get a win either today or tomorrow. And then scarily enough, it's going to come down to point spread. And the games have been so tight. The losses or wins yesterday were by a very small margin. So it's interesting. It'll be, you always want to win, and you want to try and get it as soon as you can. So, but Turkey is going to be thinking the same thing. And like I said, Turkey has a little bit more pressure just because of their past experience, where they have gone. You know, this is the team that was at the last 2 Olympics, last 2 World Cups. You know, they're not quite at the level they were back in maybe 2014, but it's still Turkey.
Well, you know, for those of you who don't know, Shona's played for Canada and kind of went through those growing pains, so to speak, of trying to graduate to become a monthly elite. And I think it's not something that for most countries, it doesn't just happen. You know, you have to suffer. You have to learn how to win those big games.
Absolutely, and you know what? Before the wins come a lot of losses and heartache and disappointment, because you put in a lot of work. And really, you know, we kind of talked about that main 4 players for Slovenia, and they need to step up and have a big second half for them. And I know that's a lot of pressure for just to kind of put on the shoulders, especially with Lisitz. She's not going to play. We didn't see her in the first half. There's no way they're going to have her warm up and come in and try and play. And I think it's a strategic thing by the coach, by the medical staff, the training staff, to give her 2 days off before they have to play again. But no matter what, you want to get the win today.
Okay, second half action now underway here in Niš, which is the 3rd largest city in Serbia. And Shaka Turkic comes right out and buries the jump shot to put Turkey in front. That was a confident looking shot from her, but here's Evans, goes down the lane and misses the layup. So a break for Turkey. Now Shaka Turkic crosses midcourt, left open, passes it back outside to Jansu Koksal and off to the right. And the Turkish players battling each other there for the rebound, and it's Nika Badic who has it for Slovenia.
So that's her 3rd foul on Shaka Turkic.
Yep, she had 2 in the first half.
And you know, you saw her look over to coach and say, yeah, I know.
That's a good sign, a much needed sign for Slovenia to see Evans.
You know, coaches need to write down that out of bounds play that Slovenia is running, because they have got that shot so many times in yesterday and today.
Well, I think you should write it down. Aren't you going to be coaching this year? Here's Janites inside to Kia Stokes. And puts it up and in, and she's fouled. Looked like she may have walked, but that wasn't the call. Here it is again. And you really feel for Evans because there are some touch fouls that have been called on her in this tournament.
Clearly, she's very conscious today about her fouls because she did foul out yesterday, and it was
the crowning
costly.
blow.
It really was. Lissett's going out in the end of the third, and then Evans fouling out with about 4 minutes left in the fourth when they were up. It was costly. So she's been cautious today, and really the 2 fouls that she has, you know, any other game they wouldn't be called.
Well, Turkey have been strong here at the start of the third quarter. It all started with Shocker Turgut hitting the jump shot. Now Kia Stokes, look at him whip it around, and Jansu Koksol drills her second three-pointer of the game. I mean, Shona, to suggest that she's important to the cause for Turkey is a massive understatement. But here's Evans at the other end, and Jansu Koksol comes up with the ball. Good box out by Janites. Nervous moments for Slovenia as Turkey have the wind in their sails, but Shocker Turgut throws the ball out of bounds. And timeout Slovenia as they want to talk about it. I'm really pleased with myself. I have to tell you this because when we were talking with a member of the Turkish delegation yesterday, I was saying Shocker Turgut is a player that needs to have the ball in her hands. And that's what Ceyhun has done today. Yıldız Olu, he's put it in her hands and he's played with Ishal Albin off the ball.
Yeah, and you know, you and I talked, and she needs to be aggressive, and she needs to take kind of take her opportunities as they come. But I think what she also needs to do is try and look for other people. And you saw her there; she was trying to penetrate to kick it. She just got stuck in the air a little bit because Ishal Albin was actually wide open. It was just poor execution at the end, but it was the right idea. And you're right. You know, normally we see Ishal Albin with the ball in her hands 85% of the time, but they've kind of changed roles a little bit, and I think it's working out because it's also letting Ishal Albin rest a little bit, but then when she gets the ball, she can also make a play. So you also almost have 2 threats where Shocker Turgut, when she plays more on the 2-guard position, you don't see the aggressiveness that we've seen so far today from her. And maybe that's because, like you said, she has the ball in her hands a little bit more, and it's making her more aggressive.
And what I wonder is also with Albin, if she has an Achilles issue by taking her out away from the point guard, does that perhaps allow her to play more effectively? Mateo Oblak fouled with Stokes reaching in. She doesn't want to talk too much to the referees. She will know that on this side of the pond, sometimes talking back to the referees too much will get you a technical. You can see the frustration there. Understand why. But anyway, it's the biggest lead that Turkey have had in this game, 5 points. And coming out and hitting the three-pointer is Yakovina. Here's another potential jump shot starting run for Slovenia. Ishal Albin doesn't think twice, does she? Kia Stokes with the rebound and put back. We just feel like every possession is so important in this game. Knowing it's going to probably go down to the wire. Another 3 attempt this time from Yakovina, missed but rebounded by Evans. Now as Nika Badic puts one up from deep. She's usually much better than that. And Shocker Turgut once again has the ball in her hand. She drives and this time shoots it over the rim. Right idea. I would think Yıldız Olu would live with that. Here's Oblak. Into Evans and fouled from behind by Jansu Koksol. Bilgic is going to come in. Well, she hammered her, didn't she?
A little bit unnecessary. You saw the ref go up and talk to Koksol after to say, hey, you know, watch out. not really a play on the ball. Be careful, because that could be called unsportsmanlike if you do it again. A lot of times refs do try and talk to players during the game to say, hey, you know what, you can't do that. This is kind of your warning. Next one will be a foul or an unsportsmanlike.
And good defense from Janitez, knocking it away from Prezel. Bilgic gets it to Stokes, right where she wants to be every time, and she goes up and scores with a soft little jump hook, this time with the left hand.
And you know, she's kind of had it's almost been quiet, Kia Stokes, but she has 17 points and 13 rebounds already today in this game. She had a double-double at halftime.
You called it at the start of the game, Shona. You said they've got to get her involved. And I agree, it has been a quiet 17. Now foul.
She's half of their offensive rebounds. They have 8 total.
You could argue that it's going to take her a little bit of time to get into the flow of this Turkish team, but now she comes out and plays the role of the SWAT machine. She's doing it all today. Ishal Albin, did she walk? Yes, she did. All 3 referees looked at each other and said, okay, who had the best angle? Look at Stokes right here.
She's incredibly long.
The pass to the corner. Now Nika Baric has it. And the bounce pass to Evans. Boy, that was beautiful basketball from Baric.
Good job being aggressive, drawing the defense, and then the pass was excellently executed.
Bilgic moves it off now. Ishal Albin. Over to Coxel. Number 3 for her. She has come of age, folks, at this EuroBasket Women. Taya Oblak somehow maintained control and didn't travel, and then had the ball knocked away. And if this Turkey team isn't the force that it once was, it's certainly showing signs of discovering something. And that has to be encouraging.
It does, you know, and I think Coxel, we saw her yesterday how valuable she was. Oh, they're going to go to replay and make sure
Keep touching.
it was a 3.
More zoom, please.
Not quite sure by...
Do we have from the baseline?
From the baseline, please, because it's difficult.
That looks like a 3 for me.
Yes, like this. No, this one. This one is good, no? I think it's good, this.
And you know,
If they can't tell, though, they can't overrule it, can they?
no, they got to go with the original call, I think.
No, we cannot.
Not conclusive. It's 3 points. 3 points. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry, man.
That's what it pays to have the white sole shoe to see the distinction.
So it is a 3. And you know, we were talking about the Turkey, sort of a rebuilding generation for them right now. But really, Coxel has done a great job, and they don't have a ton of shooters. And she has proven that she is very capable of shooting and knocking down the outside shot.
Well, here is Slovenia proving again that they have the players that can knock it down. Friskovic this time. Friskovic, one of those players with Liset's not able to go today. Good box out by Evans on Stokes. Now the pass up ahead, and great running by Slovenia. So Jakovina this time in transition, and as you said, Shona, that is Slovenia when they're at their best.
Absolutely. Honestly, I love the way that they play. They have such good backcourt guards who can deliver and make those kinds of passes. And you know, Nika Baric, she already has 9 assists. She had 10 yesterday. Talk about a point guard who knows how to create, make the pass, but also make the pass in a way that it's an easy shot for her teammates.
Ishalobin back to Bilgic. Shot clock winding down. Stokes almost a one-handed rebound while boxing out, but wasn't able to retain it. And again, it's Badic, this time up to Oblak. Tie game. Boy, she is an assist machine, Badic.
She really is, and I mean, that was a difficult pass that she made. She saw Oblak running and wasn't able to make the pass because of the defense that was on her. Here, you see, she goes to a jump pass, overhead, two-handed, and it was a perfect execution. Look, you can't really ask for a much better pass that leads to 2 easy points and a much-needed basket for Slovenia. And all game we have talked about how basketball is a game of runs and, you know, it's kind of gathering momentum. Wow, have we seen that here today? It's a perfect example. You see Turkey go on a run, you know, 7, 8 points, and all of a sudden Slovenia doesn't back down, goes on a run for their own, and now it's tied.
So Shona, you know what? I'm not sure that we have a team here. If you look at the fast break points, now Slovenia shortening the gap there. They've got 8. I'm not sure we have a team here that's going to make it to the podium. We might. I don't think so. But I'll tell you what we do have. We have a great group because all of our games have been close.
Incredibly exciting. I mean, they've been 1 to 3 point games at halftime, and they finished that close as well. It's fun for the fans. It's fun for people who enjoy watching women's basketball.
Boy, what can you say about Nika Badic? All that experience, you know, going back to the time when she was the FIBA Europe Young Player of the Year and then moving to Spartak Moscow region and playing with those great players, and now, of course, with the Katerinburg winning the EuroLeague Women. I mean, there's a reason why she's making these plays.
Really, there is. And, you know, she doesn't play a ton of minutes for ECAT, but there is a reason why they bring her back every year, and it's because she is good. She is talented, and she is a great player for them. And here, you know, with Slovenia, we get to see a little bit more of her talent because she's given more opportunity to play.
Well, coming out of the timeout, how will Turkey respond? They're going to have to put one up. Coxel passed when really she needed to put it up, even with a hand in her face.
Yeah, and Coxel has a high release. I don't think she would have been blocked, but you know what I really like is that Turkey called a timeout. They probably ran a play for against a man-to-man defense. Slovenia come out of their timeout and they go into a zone. And as you know, as a team, you start running this play and you go, oh shoot, it's zone. And then, but you don't have the time to change around and, you know, run an offensive attack against zone defense.
So that was categorized as a turnover. You see Turkey have 15 now. Evans has it down low. Great defense from Kia Stokes.
Yeah, good job staying on her feet, holding her position, keeping her arms up, and forcing Evans into a tough shot.
Bilgic back to Baha Chalar. Now Stokes. Coxel asking for the ball, but Teo Oblak knocks it away. She's going to run down, and Bilgic is going to let her go in. Not foul. Teo Oblak once again anticipating the pass to perfection. Comes up with the steal and the score. Shaka Turgut needs to get back in the game as quickly as possible. And she will indeed come back in. Here's the youngster, Bilgic. Bilgic getting the bump, and she will go back and sit down. And also we're getting a look here for the first time at this EuroBasket. Trying to see, okay, so it's number 2 is Khrushchev.
She came in just to foul at the end of the second quarter because they had fouls to give.
Okay. And the ball goes out of bounds.
And this is, you know, I know Shaka Turgut has the capability of shooting the shot from the outside, but you started the game by saying her strength and her ability and where she is at her best is when she's aggressive and driving to the basket. Coming off the bench, shooting the first shot, the first time the ball touches your hands, in my opinion, is not a good shot attempt. Now, had she made it, I'd be singing a different story.
Evans. Yakovina, air ball, and Evans did a great job, but didn't get rid of it in time, so it's a turnover, a shot clock violation. You know, it's this game is do or die, really. That's how you have to feel, and that's what you can see in these players.
You don't want to wait until your last game in the group phase on your last day to try and get that win, because you also don't know what's going to happen in the game after this.
And goal differential.
Against Italy and Hungary, goal differential, exactly. So you can't wait. You cannot wait till the last day to try and pull off the win. So, like you said, I think the team here that wins is going to have a better chance of moving on out of this group phase.
Alden pulls up. Stokes, another rebound. Into the hands of Shakir Turgut now. And Bodic hounding her. Shakir Turgut feels the defense and sprints in and scores and draws the foul. She is so dangerous, putting the ball on the deck. You beat pressure with pressure, and that's exactly what she did. And now she goes to the line for the N1.
And, you know, that's only Shantae Evans' third foul. But we saw her foul out early yesterday, and coach doesn't want to take any risks. He's going to bring her out. She's probably going to stay on the bench a little bit through the fourth quarter as well. And, you know, that's just one of those. She didn't do a good job on the help defense there, playing the post position. Shakir Turgut was already by her. You have to know time and score and your situation, how important you are. We said this yesterday when she got her fifth foul. Just let her go up for the 2 points.
Situation.
Know the situation. You're already beat. You know, let her go. You gave up 3 points and got a foul, and your team needs you.
Well, interesting, and now the turnover off of Friskovic, and now the pass up ahead to Kia Stokes. Surrounded well, but Coxell's not going to hesitate, and she's short. Prezel, again, another chance. Turkey not getting back on defense, not preventing the snowbird, but they get lucky with Crucial missing the layup.
She also might have got away with a little bit of a walk. There you see the shooting percentage, 57% by Turkey.
Yalchin back in the game for Shakir Turgut here in the final minute of the third quarter. Ishil Albin, oh, beautiful drive, but great defense by Gorsuch. Gorsuch just says, I want the rebound, I want the stats.
From her teammate. So here, one shot. Turkey don't have a foul to give. See,
really, this is the player that needs to have the ball.
Say, yeah.
Takes the pick, she's going to launch it. Here it goes, nope, she's going to pass it. Crochelle from the right. And Stokes with the rebound, and that is it for 3 quarters. And what a game we had, folks. Once again, nail biter. 47-46, Turkey on top of Slovenia, 10 minutes remaining.
Here you have the stats after 3, 55%. Turkey's done a great job of shooting the ball inside the paint, and that's why they have such a high shooting percentage. I mean, they've come back a little bit from 3-point range. Both of them aren't really getting to the line a whole lot. They're shooting very well, so maybe that's something you need to think about doing in this fourth quarter here.
Serbestsin.
Understand? Hey, now is the time. Let's go! Let's go!
Well, it's crunch time showing up. 47-46, Turkey on top of Slovenia. Both of these teams lost their opening games at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019 here yesterday. Tomorrow will be a day off. One of these teams is going to be feeling much better about themselves after today's game. which we would anticipate is going to finish in about 15 minutes or so, unless we have overtime.
I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into overtime, Jeff. And honestly, you know, we said you don't want to leave it to the last day to get a win.
So Evans starting here, and wide open is Kea Oblak. That was a mistake, one that Turkey did not get punished by, but they didn't get the offensive rebound. Now Evans fakes and fouled by Bahar Chalar. Well, she had a solid overall performance yesterday. Bahar doesn't play as much as she had been in recent years for whatever reason.
But you know what? I think Coxell has come in and kind of proved that she can play the same type of position as Bahar has played for them. Exactly, extended. I think, you know, Coxell's a lot better three-point shooter, which is a position that Turkey needs.
Well, shot clock winding down, and this time Işıl Albin chases down the long rebound. It triggers the break. And Şakir Turgut back to Albin, wide open. Janitez not able to corral it. Evans grabs that rebound. Now it's Preza. Evans, open, pump fake, takes it in, beautiful pass, and then it goes through Prezel's hands. She's gonna have to launch it, and boy, that was all because of Prezel's fumble fingers.
Yeah, I think actually Evans, after that shot fake, probably should have gone to a little bit of a pull-up because she had the best shot for them.
Wow, a technical foul has been called on Damir Grgic.
Now he's got to be careful that he doesn't get a second one, because if he does, see the Slovenian fans, I'm not really sure what he was arguing about.
I think maybe was he pleading for a foul on, at the other end on Preza?
I mean,
that was just a rush shot, or
yeah.
Maybe he saw something at this end. And Albin punishes him, and in a way, it's almost a mirror of what's happened with this Slovenia team. I mean, you know, they make the odd mistake, which really proves costly.
Yeah, you know, and you always talk about mistakes, mental mistakes, and for some reason, when it happens to Slovenia, when they do something out of the ordinary, it really affects them. I mean, Shante Evans getting that 5th foul yesterday, game changer.
Şakir Turgut launches it, and Janitez kept it alive. But here comes Slovenia. They get the rebound now up to Kea Oblak. Frišković over the Preza, down low to Evans. She's not going to miss that. Tie game. Now
Good
8
find
minutes
by
to go.
Oblak. Right now, there's 8 minutes. There's so much time left, Jeff, but it's all about being able to get stops, going down and getting a score for both these teams. You got to get a couple consecutive stops in a row, couple consecutive scores to be able to come out on top.
And this might be one part of the game where you might think, okay, maybe now is the time to give Işıl Albin more touches. As well, look for Kia Stokes.
Yeah, you know, we saw her a lot more aggressive in the first half. I think she did a good job in that third quarter facilitating her team, but she didn't look for her shot as much.
There's Işıl Albin driving. Oh, she is money in the bank.
And that's what they need from her. But wow, was she a different player today than she was yesterday.
Evans backing up Stokes. Good defense by Kia Stokes.
And again, you know, Evans got Kia Stokes early in that first quarter on a shot fake. Kia bit fouled. Since then, you haven't seen her jumping on Evans's shot fakes.
Janitez down low to Bahar Chalar. And she had the size advantage. And was able to get the foul called on Frišković. So now 7:07 remaining. The clock continues to tick. And Turkey, in my opinion, playing much better than one day ago. Here's Albin over to Janitez, and that was a good decision by her. She picks up the foul by Frišković. And this is a must. They need Baric back in the game.
Yeah, no, they do. You know, this is kind of the moment where you have 7 minutes left in this game. You need to, they don't win tonight. I'm not saying by any means it's over for them, but it's definitely a weight off their shoulders if they can pull off a win tonight. Right now, you got to go with your players. You got to go with your best players for the next 7 minutes.
Well, here's Shocker Turgid this time going, but denied. Much better defensive end. Might have forced that one a little bit that time. Here's Nika Baric, rested. Sinichar hands it off to Prezel. Now Tea Oblak. She was open in the corner. But I suppose if you're Turkey, you think, well, if you want to shoot the ball that far away from the basket, we'll let you. Here's Albin, wide open. Janitez gets in for the rebound, and she's fouled by Sinichar.
And you know, that's where you kind of see a little bit of disappointment on Shante Evans, because she had a great box out on Kia Stokes, who was actually under the basket. She did a good job boxing out, but she almost cleared out everyone and opened a rebounding lane for Turkey to come in from the outside. But these are the kind of, you know, these are the plays that you're going to look back and you're going to say, we needed all 5 people to box out and rebound if you want to get a win. And if you want to make it to the next level, those are things that you need to do, especially down the end of the game.
And so I think it's safe to say that Janitez is probably the least skilled player out there for Turkey, but she's contributing in those, you know, she's doing what stuff within her skill set, basically. She's crashing the boards, hustling to the ball.
Doesn't take a ton of skill to be aggressive and crash the boards.
Exactly.
And that's what, you know, that's what teams need. You need that player who's willing to do those kind of things for you as well. And this is a little concerning for me. It's already 5 fouls for Slovenia. So any other foul from here on out, Turkey are going to the line. And Slovenia are typically, they foul a lot. You know, they had 30 fouls yesterday in the game.
Look at that. You see who was that hustling
again
to the rebound? It was Janitez.
And, you know, she didn't get it, but she was able to hit it off the fingers of a Slovenian, and now they have the ball underneath.
So vital free throws missed by Kuxel, yet the hustle from Janitez keeps the ball in Turkey's hands.
You know, in 2017, I was talking about the foul troubles that Slovenia had. They averaged 26 fouls a game in 2017, the most of any country playing at EuroBasket women. 30 yesterday. It's just costly. You give teams an opportunity to go to the line and hit free throws.
Long one, and Albin knocks it out, and good hustle this time by Shocker Turgid to get to the ball. She gets it to Janitez, and this time Janitez kind of got to a tough spot and turned it over. Ball goes off of Evans, but she gets it back. Now she takes the pass from Tea Oblak. And good job by Slovenia circulating the ball out in the perimeter. Prezel on the baseline. You can't be afraid, folks, to take those shots.
You can't. I thought Baric, you know, maybe gave up a good look, but she obviously knew who she had to her right.
Shocker Turgid driving in. Passes it back outside to Albin. Shot clock down to 4. Albin puts it up. Front and back of the rim, Sinichar with a big rebound. The well suddenly dry here for Turkey, including those missed free throws by Kuxel.
Well, you know, Kia Stokes had to go out for Turkey. I think she had a little bit of blood on her arm, and the ref made her go out to get that bandaged up. So she's going to come back in, and you kind of feel like they're missing her a little bit.
Absolutely, and Baric puts Slovenia back in front. Yudizolu brings his team back over for a timeout.
And that actually might just be a timeout
to also get,
yeah, exactly, because you don't want to waste, you know, you don't know when the next call is going to be. You don't want to waste 2 or 3 opportunities on offense to get a score and have her be on the bench.
41-29, including 13 offensive rebounds. But they trail by 1 against Slovenia.
Two down. Easy, two down. Or play two. Try to play two also. If it's nothing, play two pick and roll. Just move the ball. Understand? Hey, if we score.
Not hit as many threes
we go one time. One time.
as they had in the first half.
30. If the ball goes, let's go on trap. Trap.
They've been missing a lot. They were 4-13, in fact, at halftime. So they've hit a couple here in the second half.
And, you know, just looking at the stats here, Jeff, during this timeout, you know it's a close game when you've had 13 lead changes.
That is your best observation yet. Ishal Albin brings it forward. Turkey down 1, coming out of a timeout that they called. Aggressive D here by Slovenia.
And I like that. They were actually in a 1-2-2 full court zone. Full court. They picked up full court. Baric did. And then now they've gone back into man.
Janitez has to put it up at the line. And what a shot. Oh, I thought she made it. I thought she got off and they're appealing to look. Boy, I'm not so sure about that.
I mean, the ref seems pretty confident in his call. But you know what? Again, that defense was good job by Slovenia and the coach there. He made a decision to go to a 1-2-2 defense, and I think maybe on the second pass they went into man, and it confused Turkey, and they didn't get the shot off in time.
Oh, good hands by Coxwell to knock it away into the hands of Shakir Turgut. And Shakir Turgut, a little bit out of control, forced it.
The couple times Shakir Turgut has had a turnover, it's because, you know, you and I keep saying we love when she's aggressive and she's going to the basket, but she still needs to learn that you can't get stuck jumping in the air and not having a pass. And her 2 turnovers, the last 2 turnovers in this half, have been because of that. She's jumped in the air and not had anything and turn the ball over. But that's just experience. That'll come with, you know what I mean? That'll come with time. She hasn't played a whole lot. She started to play a little bit more in 2017, 2018. This is the most she has played for her country in these 2 games, so.
Absolutely, she's logging the big minutes here, and right now she's guarding Baric, who pulls up and misses the jumper. A little bit of a reprieve for Turkey. Slovenia much better getting something after they've made a few passes. They're just pulling up and shooting the jumper. And we're coming up on the 3.5-minute mark. Albin, throws it right into the path of Baric, and it might be, and they call the unsportsmanlike for raising her left arm and catching Nika Baric.
And again, I know it wasn't on purpose, but if you foul in transition, Baric was going to have the ball. She was going to get the ball, and it was most likely going to be a layup. And that's an unsportsmanlike foul, even if she didn't do it. There you go. She wasn't going for a ball. She stopped. She prevented Baric from. It's clearly a foul, and it clearly wasn't a foul. A play on the ball, and unfortunately, it's going to be 2 shots and a ball, which could be costly. You have 3 minutes 28 seconds left. Baric steps up to the line, and you have the possession.
So here's a real opportunity for Baric and Slovenia. And she drills the first one. First free throws of the night, or afternoon rather, for her. And the second is no good. So a little bit of a let off.
And again, Slovenia are best when they move the ball, attack, pass.
Evans catches it, makes the pass, but I think Stokes might have disrupted it.
Yeah, and that's one of those kind of positions. I feel like maybe Evans should have gone up for the shot and tried to take a little bit of responsibility. I like the unselfishness.
Well, they've got to go to Stokes, and they get it to her, but they pushed her away from the basket. Good job by Evans. Shakir Turgut for 3. And Janitez, great battling down low, but Prezel called for a push.
And again, you know, you said Janitez does a great job of playing kind of within her level. And think about how many opportunities she's been able to give this Turkey team just because of the way that she plays. She wasn't going to get that rebound, but she still fought for it and drew the foul. Can't take advantage, missing her first free throw.
She's got 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals and a block.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid game.
But she's missed some free throws, and Turkey have missed some vital ones here in this quarter. They're now 8 of 12 from the line. Still only a 2-point lead for Slovenia. Oblak pulls up and she's hit while attempting making the shot from the line.
And Albin's got to be careful that she doesn't get a technical either just with her reaction. Well, you know what? We saw a couple foul calls yesterday where it looked like after the release that they touched the hand, and they were calling those fouls yesterday.
Boy, that is what you call a dagger. That was big time by Teo Oblak.
Pretty clutch by one of the leaders, and I said for, you know, this Slovenian team to win, they're going to have Baric step up, Oblak step up, Evans step up, and that's what we're seeing here tonight.
Oh, that was a great take by Shakhtar Turgut. Almost too easy, really, for Slovenia to give away and let Turkey get back to within 3. Baric over to Evans. Pump fake, takes it down to the baseline, back outside to Nika Baric. Nobody boxed out Prezel. But then she throws it into the hands of Koksal, who then fouls Baric. So free throws again for Nika Baric.
And you know, I was just, good job by Baric there.
It was,
exaggerating the foul. She definitely, but that's a veteran move. I mean, everyone does it, so can't get too mad. And I was just about to say, you know, I haven't really seen Prezel much in this second half for Slovenia. She got a little bit quiet shooting-wise, but what'd she do? She came up with a big rebound for them.
Baric misses the first, her second miss.
This is really interesting because both teams are in bonus now, and both teams were shooting 100% at halftime. I mean, it was only 4 of 4 for Slovenia, 6 of 6 for Turkey, but this is something to think about, you know. Can they knock down free throws? Because I think we're going to see a bunch of free throws near the end of this game, just because both teams are in bonus. It's a close game, and you've got to be able to knock down those shots.
Well, that takes it effectively to a 2-possession game. Albin drives in, takes the punishment, thinking there was going to be a foul call. She was on the ground, didn't react. Then she looks up and says, "Where's the whistle?"
I think Prezel actually did a pretty good job on defense there, but she was just standing with her hands up, and she probably could have got the rebound. Look, she had no idea where the ball was.
Well, fortunately for Turkey, the possession arrow gives the ball to them. Shakhtar Turgut with 6 seconds on the shot clock to Koksal and to Stokes. Good move. Well, they got to put it up. Will they have time? Koksal did not get it off in time, did she? Doesn't matter. She missed it. And Janitez fouls from behind.
And these are the kind of fouls, you know, we praised her for going and trying to rebound offensively, but you can't get a foul there because you're going down to the other end and you're giving 2 free throw opportunities to Slovenia. Right now it's a 2-possession game. You're making it more difficult on yourself. I think you need to, when you're down, you need to be aggressive and you need to try and get offensive rebounds, absolutely, because you need to give yourself second chance opportunities, but you can't foul. You cannot foul in that type of a situation.
Foul, who is the
referees
shooter?
want to have a look at this.
On the foul. Okay, this, number 3. Number 3, yes. Number 3 is the shooter.
Time. To see how much time is on the clock.
Number 3. Hadi Martins, go. Go.
Oh no, to see who's shooting the free throws, was it? I think that's what it was.
Really?
Yeah. So it's Teo Oblak at the line, because I saw him signal 3. And she makes the first one.
And you know, this is not a bad person to have on the line. Oblak during the qualifiers was 12 for 12 for Slovenia. She was 25 of 29 for Chaperon during the EuroLeague Women this year. So someone who you want the ball in this last minute 45 if you're Slovenia and they're trying to foul.
Michael Turgott being closely guarded by Oblak, goes off the foot. Oh, that was a tough finish from her. You've got to dig deep, both of these teams right now. Nika Baric conscious that now the clock is becoming the enemy of Turkey.
You need to get a good shot if you're Slovenia, but you want to use the clock as much as you can.
Preza into the corner to Oblak. Janitez chases down the rebound. Still time for Turkey, but they need baskets.
Still a two-possession game. You don't want to rush a shot, but you want to get a good shot.
Coxel, she's open. And front and back of the rim, and Preza with the rebound.
Right now, if I'm Slovenia, I'm getting the ball in Oblak's hands.
But Preza wanted to launch it. So Slovenia making the commitment to take time off the clock. Oblak. Now Preza steps to her right and puts up an air ball. And then the shot clock, no, right at the end of the shot clock. Albin with 29 seconds to go in the game. Turkey, if they score, they'll probably have to get a foul.
They need to score. I think they're taking too much time to get a shot.
And they just aren't getting the points.
And right now, it's still important for Slovenia to try and get a shot up.
Well, the final 13 seconds now, they can hold it. They're up by 4.
But we talked about points.
That's right. Here it is, Preza. Oh, that's big! That ices it.
That is.
And that, no telling how important those points will be. Turkey will try to get something here right at the end. She puts it up, and it's heartbreak for the second consecutive night for Turkey. They played so well for such a long stretch of this game, but they have fallen 62 to 55 to a determined Slovenia who bounced back from yesterday's their own heartbreaking defeat to Hungary.
Yeah, and you know what? Just honestly, poor execution down the end for Turkey. I think they took too long to try and get shots off near the end when they were down. It was only a two-possession game. You got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. You got to try and get scores. You got to try and get offensive rebounds. And that might be, you know, we talked about, here you see the stats for the game, 51% from 2. They went away from getting the ball inside in the last quarter, Jeff. And I think that shows, you know, they struggled tonight from three-point range. Maybe they shouldn't have shot over 30 shots from 3. They out-rebounded Slovenia. I thought Slovenia did a good job coming back and trying to get it a little closer. But this is a big stat for me right here. 20 turnovers for Turkey. You can't expect to beat any team with 20 turnovers. And that's something that, you know, you're going to look back and say, we didn't take care of the ball. Here are the leaders. Stokes with 17 points, 19 rebounds. Oblak, clutch again. She had 18 yesterday, 18 today. 2 steals. I mean, 3 blocks by Stokes. Stokes had a great game for Turkey, but they went away from her. And we saw them do it yesterday. They did it again today. We talked about maybe this is a transition period for Turkey, and I felt like they didn't have enough leadership and maybe savvy for the end of game situations, and that probably shows you that this team is not experienced. Yeah, they've been around, but they haven't played a lot of minutes.
Evans also came out, had to dig deep tonight. You could see without Lisets doing some good work inside. But really, you know, for this Slovenia team, it's not just about 1 or 2 players. It's a whole handful. They've all got to be rowing in the same direction, and they made just enough plays tonight at the right time. That was a huge shot. Remember, Slovenia were up by a couple, and Teo Oblak took the shot at the line, made it, and got the foul from Israel Albin.
Let's talk about their leader, probably one of the most experienced, Baric. She has 12 assists tonight, 10 yesterday. In 2 games in this tournament, she has 22 assists. That's amazing. I mean, you can't really ask much more from your point guard if you're a coach. But like you said, everyone sort of stepped up for them at different times. And I was honestly really worried for the Slovenian team when I saw Lisets not warming up. I mean, she came out, she kind of tricked us, played with us a little bit. They got to win without their starting center. And a person who plays big minutes for them, who's skilled, who's a EuroLeague woman player, and they still were able to pull off that win. And, you know, I'd love to see her play. She's going to have a day off tomorrow, so another day to whatever that issue is. I don't know, Achilles, heel, calf. She has another day to recover, already knowing that, hey, my team has got to win. We're possibly already moving on. Maybe I'll be ready to go for them in 2 days.
Well, with Turkey, again, I think they played a lot better today, actually, than they did even yesterday. And it was just a spell of play in that 4th quarter where they just did not get the execution that they needed. And also, they failed to get back on defense a few times on those fast breaks, which led to easy baskets. But it's still a team that's evolving, and they're still got a chance. And right now, the sighs of relief are being breathed by this team right here, the team in white, who will go into their rest day at 1-1 Slovenia. Last year, 2 years ago, rather, they won one of their games, lost a close one to France. They beat Greece, and then I think it was Russia that beat them in their final game. And here they are, just trying to take that next step. And if you had to pick somebody, probably, for me, it's Oblak. She steps up and hits the big shots. So one final time, it's Slovenia winning. They go right now to 1-1. So with that extra bonus point for playing, they have 3 ahead of Hungary and Italy, who will square it off next, tipping it off in 45 minutes. So we'll be starting the commentary in 35 minutes. We hope that you'll stick with us. Turkey right there, 0-2 in Group C. Thanks for watching.